up for you today. And starting off, Jackson Cantwell. This is a player that has a lot of hype as I believe, the top player in 26, and somebody who we have been going after, somebody who apparently another school is also going after.
Yeah, John. So, I mean, this is, we got some interesting information here on Jackson Cantwell. So, obviously, the number one player in the nation. There's been some rumblings. We've heard this for a few weeks now that Michigan is interested, and some people have been surprised by this because we landed Andrew Babalola, we landed Ty Haywood, and so people are like, well, why? I mean, like, this is an expensive position, like this isn't a position where you can. Especially a player who's ranked number one in the nation, especially a player who's represented by Drew Rosenhaus, one of the top NFL agents. All right, like you're talking. This is serious territory, like serious, like an Underwood territory, serious, like a Andrew Babalola, Ty Haywood territory. And good news, Michigan fans, because Michigan's willing to play ball. Not only have we heard some rumblings by our own, the on-3s and the 247s, but we are also, so we have a recruiting analyst within our network by the name of Leanne Herring. And she has a national reach. She really does focus a lot on the South, but guess who's in this recruitment? Georgia's in this recruitment. Oregon's in this recruitment, and Michigan is in this recruitment. And because Georgia's in this recruitment, she's got some word that Michigan is a serious player, and Michigan's looking to be very aggressive. So, one of the things that's very interesting about this recruitment also is guess who is involved on this, John?
Who's that?
Dave Portnoy, Barstool, and Queen Julian, baby.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so Michigan's not effing around. They got the big dogs. They got the cannons. We'll see where this goes. So far, we have a very good hit rate when they are involved. So I'm trying to personally, I'm like, okay, so what is the strategy here? You have Andrew Babalola. You have Ty Haywood. I guess you can move Ty Haywood to guard. Babalola will be here. You can move Cantwell to the other tackle. I mean, that really could be the future here in about 2 years. So
yeah,
it's a very interesting thing. We know that Michigan takes offensive line extremely serious. It's a priority for them. Their identity is power football, smash football. And as a Michigan fan, I'll be honest with you, it's exciting to see them still take this position. I mean, they're going after the top players in the country, bro. Like, we just landed 2 5-star offensive linemen last class, and they're going after the number one in the nation for this class. So, I mean, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine, boys. Let's see how this one goes. We will be following this one very closely.
Yeah, very exciting. Obviously, Georgia contending for this one, but Michigan is hanging tough, and it's great to see that. I mean, 3 years ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation, TJ. Because 3 years ago, Georgia would have sewn this guy up probably.
John, 1 year ago. 1 year ago today, we would not be having this conversation. And what's also interesting, John, I did not mention this. He's looking to visit Michigan in March for the spring practices. So let's be on the lookout for that. We'll keep you guys updated. But you're right, John. Michigan was not getting in these types of battles until about April of last year. But even this level, now, this level of battle, not until end of September, October of this year. So they've gotten their game together. And listen, we all heard what Will Fong said. Michigan will not be outgunned in the NIL game. And Michigan is an NIL school that is not going anywhere. And we know this. You guys have stuck with us, for a while. You would know we've had that for you guys since April. We've kept you guys up to date on that. And it's true. So it's exciting. 2026 is going to be a big year, John, and we have more players that we're going to hit on for the class of 26.
Absolutely. So, we love quarterbacks named Brady here at Michigan. So let's hear about this player here, Brady Smigiel. Yeah,
Brady Smigiel. Take a look at this guy, because if Brady Hart did not commit, which is funny, right? All these Bradys, huh? Mm-hmm. If Brady Hart did not commit, I mean, you got the Brady connection with Tom Brady, but like, if Brady did not commit to Michigan, Brady Smigiel was going to commit to Michigan. Okay, so this is the quarterback who Michigan is currently targeting to be QB1 for 2026, and I think we're in a very good position personally, from what I'm aware of. And what I'm aware of is this: he loves Michigan. Okay, he loved Michigan before. Michigan obviously went a different direction. We all know what happened there. Now he's back on the radar. So get this. He is going to be at the game, boys. Spring game. He is going to be visiting for the spring game. We already know that's going to be a major event. Fox is going to be there broadcasting the game nationally. So this is the player that we really need to watch. And this is the player that I am quite confident Michigan's going to try and close so they can start building their class around. And I'll tell you, if you can land an Underwood and you get a Brady Smigiel coming in after him, Brady Smigiel is a very high floor kid. So our quarterback room will only be lifted with this addition. I am hoping we do land Brady Smigiel personally. I'm excited about it, but we'll see. It's one of those things too where, we're going to learn more as these next few months because we are currently in a dead period of recruiting. It picks back up March 3rd. And we're going to find out probably in March, early April, where we stand in terms of other schools that are also interested in Brady Smigiel. But I'm excited about this. Kid obviously has an arm. He's obviously a very accurate thrower. He can throw on the run. And I think he would, and when I'm looking at quarterback prospects, John, I'm like, okay, how does he fit a Chip Lindsey offense? And I think he does. I think he does fit a Chip Lindsey offense. He can get the ball out quick. He's very good in the short to intermediate throws. And, he has touch on the ball. So I think he's an exciting prospect that we should all be paying attention to.
Yeah, and the exciting prospects don't stop there because Savion Hyder, number 1 running back, is there's some smoke that although Michigan is still in an extremely, I think, high position and comfortable lead, it does sound like Georgia has some serious interest. So let's hear about what the latest is on Savion Hyder.
So Savion Hyder has come out with a top 4, and that top 4 is Georgia, Ohio State, F those guys, Tennessee, and Michigan. Okay. Michigan, Savion Hyder has said that Michigan is his number 1 school as of about a month ago. Mm-hmm. He said that very clearly, and he will be visiting Michigan June 13th to June 15th, a week before the major recruiting weekend. And he is also looking to make a decision in the summer. So, I am assuming that he will be making a decision after his official visits. Michigan is going to have to work very hard here. From my understanding, Tony Alford is his best relationship, which is good news for us, obviously. And obviously, look, Michigan prioritizes running backs just like it does offensive line. I would not be surprised to see Michigan land Savion Hyder. I think we're in a great spot to do that. Now, of course, you got to look out for Georgia. I mean, Georgia's a very strong recruiting school for running backs. They're obviously an issue. I'm not very concerned about Ohio State at this current moment. But Tennessee's an NIL player as well. We all know that. So they're willing to do dumb things, to be quite honest with you. They're willing to up markets for no reason at all. I mean, obviously to get the kid, but it's just they do silly things. Like they really overpay players. But that's where we are there. It's something we're going to pay attention to as we get updates. We'll have more on that for you. The next running back, John, this is very interesting because this is your Sonic and Knuckles duo. And there's been some, they've discussed this publicly, potentially pairing up between them. So Savion Hyder being the number 1 running back in the nation, Javion Osborne being the number 5 running back in the nation. But the concern was, would they both come here? It seems like Javion Osborne is leaning Texas. Well, good news, Michigan fans, because my Detroit Lions just stole Texas's running back, and his number 1 relationship was Tashard Choice, running back of Texas, and his number 2 relationship is Big Tony Alford, baby. So guess what? My Detroit Lions just opened up the door for us to really continue being his top school, because this is another one where Javion Osborne said Michigan was his top school around December, I believe it was. So I think we are back in the pole position due to this. We'll find out, obviously, over time, but it definitely does not hurt when his strongest relationship and current leader loses their running back coach and goes to the NFL. He is going to be looking to visit June 20th, which is the big recruiting weekend for Michigan. And he's also working on doing an unofficial visit for March. So he's looking to do 2 visits, which is always major. And we will learn a lot more in March, whether he comes or doesn't come on a visit. And if he does visit, then, what is the response? How does the family respond? And, stuff like that. So we're excited for that. Looking forward to that major. I'll tell you right now, John, If you can land Brady Smigiel, you can land Jackson Cantwell, and you can get this Sonic and Knuckle duo, bro. And then let's just all right. Then let's get into it. Let's get into Chris Henry. Let's piss off some Buckeyes.
You want to piss receivers here? Here we go.
I love pissing off the Buckeyes, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't just piss off Buckeyes to piss off Buckeyes. Okay, I'm here to bring you guys what is actually being discussed, and what is actually occurring. And one of the things that the Buckeyes will be in denial about is Chris Henry Jr., who is currently committed to Ohio State, the #1 wide receiver in the nation. He is a 6'5", 5-star wide receiver out of Mater Dei. And, we all know that, I think it was a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, there was some rumblings that Michigan was going to speak with, Chris Henry and potentially, discuss, some NIL with him. And Sean McGee went, Sharon Moore went, the whole crew. Well, I can confirm that Michigan is going to pursue him with aggressive NIL. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean we'll get him? No. Again, I'm not guaranteeing anything. But what I am saying is they will. They're going to try. He's also hearing from Oregon. Now, could this be a play on his end to up his NIL? Because you're going, you got Oregon, you got Michigan. They're players now. Could this be his play at getting Ohio State to raise their NIL package? It might be. It's February, boys. Negotiation tactics are being applied until the pen hits the paper, right? So it's something we are going to watch and monitor, but I am just trying to let you guys know that there is some legitimacy. No, there is not some. There's legitimacy to Michigan applying an NIL offer and shooting their shot with Chris Henry Jr.
Nice. Well, anytime we can get one over on the Buckeyes, it's always an exciting moment. I remember when Jordan Marshall was announced, and I'm pretty sure I was on with Mark Rogers at the time when that news was breaking, and so that was an exciting show. But anytime you can get one over on the Buckeyes, it's a great day.
100%. And looking at this list, like this is a list, and we got more. We're going to get into Tristan Keys and Jordan Thomas. Looking at this list, though, John, if Cantwell commits to Michigan, if Smigiel commits to Michigan, if Hyder commits to Michigan, if Chris Henry ever commits to Michigan, they're all players we're going to go live for. I mean, these are major targets. Mm-hmm. We're talking about top players at their position.
Yep.
Another top player at their position is Tristan Keys, who is battling Chris Henry as the #1 wide receiver in the nation. And he's going to be also looking to visit Michigan in March for spring practice. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, Michigan is looking to have these visits be home runs, which they typically do a good job. But as you guys know, we've added extra recruiting staff. We have Kaylee Johnson, who does the on-campus recruiting for the visits. She's been a freaking home run. And I anticipate Michigan's going to get a lot of momentum and a lot of buzz in the next 2 months from spring practices and kids watching practice, as well as being at this spring game. And going into summer, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of momentum and a lot of buzz from Michigan. I know there's been some frustration in the fan base. I've seen it in terms of why aren't we getting some commits right now? Like the class is kind of a little behind. It's early. It's February. It'll start ramping up once March hits. But, to the point of Tristan Keys here, again, battling with Chris Henry as a #1 top wide receiver. He will be visiting. I feel confident that now I'm not saying they're going to get Chris Henry or Tristan Keys, but here's what I do feel confident in saying. I feel confident Michigan is going to land an elite wide receiver in the 26 class. I feel confident they will, because I think they realize after going through the winter portal that the price point for some of these portal kids who are not producing is ridiculous. And they'd rather put that money on a kid who has a very high ceiling and they can mold from day one to fit their offensive scheme, and as well gel with Bryce Underwood, who, and I also want to make this extremely clear too. This is something I've been thinking about. I truly do believe, John, that once Bryce Underwood hits that field and these kids see Bryce Underwood play, they're going to want to come to Michigan, because there is a hesitancy in wide receiver prospects in coming to Michigan because of the lack of production and development at the positions the last few years. We've had this confirmed. We've had this very confirmed with some of the best sources we could have on that. Pretty recently, we've had that confirmed. So I truly do believe that Michigan, with this new offense and with Bryce Underwood, I think kids are going to really want to come to Michigan and be a part of this. So that's something I'm excited about. The last player I want to hit on, John, Jordan Thomas, who actually is one of my early, I don't know, not favorites, but I really like this player. I would love to land Jordan Thomas. He's a 6'1" corner. Michigan's extremely high on him, and he is wearing Michigan gear in his workouts. But now that doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. We all know that some kids will do that, but it's a good sign. And I'm excited. Jordan Thomas is out of New Jersey, I believe, Bergen Catholic, which Michigan has had ties out of New Jersey. Hopefully they're trying to build that East Coast area with a Biff Poggi. So we'll see what they can do there. But it's a player that I do believe should be on our radar. So, guys, this is actually a very strong recruiting roundup in terms of the players. A lot of juicy news. Things are starting to pick up a little bit. And, stick with us because we're going to have more for you guys as the off season progresses.
Yeah. And look, these are great names. And obviously, I would love to have a top receiving target. It would be hilarious if it was Chris Henry Jr., but Tristan Keys would be a great option too. But I agree with you. Once you start to see Bryce Underwood show off what he can do, it'll begin in the spring game. It'll continue once he hits the field, whenever that is during the season. I'm hoping he's good enough that he's game one, but at some point during the season, I think he's going to be the starter at some point. At least by the back half in the Ohio State game in particular, I would expect to see him as the starter. And then receivers will see that on film, and they're going to see an actual, a quarterback that might even be better than, I would argue, our best quarterback ever, JJ McCarthy. And that is really something.
I think he's going to win a Heisman. Not next year, but I do think he's going to. We know he's going to go for one. We know that. He's already posted social media posts about it. I think we're going to win a Natty with him, and I think we're going to win a Heisman with him. I really do. And I think Michigan is going to do what it needs to do that. I think Michigan's willing to spend and get the top players in the country to achieve that, and I'm very excited about it. So we'll see, man. I mean, listen. Basketball program, football program, it's all in a great direction right now. Michigan's doing a very good job in terms of the trajectory of these programs, and sky is honestly the limit for both of these programs. And I'm just excited about it.
There we go. Well, we're all going to be watching, and I agree. As some of these players, if Michigan pulls one of these, just like we did with Bryce Underwood, where we had an emergency live show that went hours and hours, and I stopped by from my event. It was balls to the wall. The same will be true with some of these